Welcome back to your 30 days of fitness with Mind Pump. We are back to your guys' mobility days. Make sure you guys take your time on these movements. It's not something you want to speed through, especially if you know it's challenging for you. You probably have a problem there. Spend some extra time in these movements. We're going to add an extra movement this week to the mobility days. So Justin's going to be taking you guys through 6 different exercises. The first movement he's going to take you through is the pigeon. The second movement you're going to go through is the thread the needle. The third movement you're going to go through is the high five. The fourth one, ankle wall slide. The fifth one, half moon. And then the last one is the sweeping 90-90. Also, don't forget, just because we're doing your mobility days, and you can do this at home, do not forget to hit your target NEAT, which is 14 to 16,000 steps per day. And then make sure you hang in all the way to the end of the video, because after we're done explaining the exercises, Sal's going to bring it all together for you guys.
All right, we're back here on the floor with the pigeon stretch. Bring one leg forward, bend it at almost 90 degrees, stretch the back leg back, keep your shoulders square, sit up nice and tall, allow yourself to sink, drive into the floor with your leg, and pick yourself back up. That's how you do a rep with this version of pigeon.
Very nice. Notice Justin's got the good posture. His shoulders are squared up. I think the most common mistake that you see with this, Sal, is people tend to dip to the side and then they'll compensate with their torso. You want to keep the torso up, good and straight posture. Chest is up, shoulders are back. And it's a very small range of motion. He's just letting the hips sink down into the stretch to where you feel that stretch position, and then he's connecting to those muscles by driving back up out of it.
Excellent point. Coming up next, thread the needle.
All right, Sal, what do we have here today?
This is the thread the needle position. So you're going to start by being on the floor, hands and knees, and you want to keep your palm flat on the floor as you reach through behind the arm that's still posted up on the floor for a rep.
Notice, too, as Justin rotates, he's also going to rotate his head as he's looking up towards the ceiling in the direction that the hand that's pulling through or sliding through. His palm is staying flat down. It's nice and slow and controlled. It's not something that you want to fly through. And he's really reaching through as he gets on the other side and challenging that end range of motion.
Talk about a great stretch for the mid-back. This is one of my favorite movements if I ever feel tight in that area. And that's what we're trying to do with this movement, increase mobility in the thoracic spine.
And some of you may not even be able to get your shoulder all the way to the ground. That's totally normal. A lot of people lack that much mobility there. That's just a sign that you need to do this more.
Coming up next, high five. All right, here we are with the high five movement we've done now several times. Get a split stance, use a stationary object, reach all the way up, keeping your arm straight, move forward till you feel a pretty good stretch. Hold that position, then try to bring your arm back off the wall.
Remember, Sal, the most important part of this is making sure that the shoulder stays squared up facing forward. Most common mistake you're going to see is people are going to want to rotate to lift their arm off. The idea is to stay squared up and then connect to those muscles in your back to pull the hand off the wall.
Basically, you're not allowed to move your body. The only thing that can move when you do this movement is your arm when you're pulling it off the wall. Gnarly exercise, great for shoulder and back mobility and connection. Coming up next, ankle wall slide.
All right, Sal, here we go. We have the ankle wall slide here with Justin now.
This is a great movement for ankle mobility, similar to the combat stretch. Similar movement, right? You're moving forward.
A little bit different here, though, Sal. The one thing I like about this is this provides some feedback, because the most common thing you'll see when people get into a squat and they drop down, the knees come forward, most common thing we'll see is the collapsing of the knees in.
Where it wants to come in towards the center line of the body?
Right. So what a lot of people don't realize is not only are you working on great mobility in your ankle right here, you're also training a really good recruitment pattern by using the wall as feedback. So as he leans into the stretch, he's using that wall to give him feedback if his knee is wanting to collapse in, and he's keeping it open as he slides down.
Now remember, as you move forward and you feel that stretch in the back of your calf or your ankle or your Achilles, you want to also at the same time imagine you're pulling your toes up to connect to that range of motion. It's very important you do that part.
Excellent point.
Coming up next, half moon.
All right, Sal, we're on to the half moon.
So what you want to do is you want to stand up next to something stationary. The leg that's closest to the stationary object should be in front. The one that's furthest away from the stationary object goes behind your body. Straighten your leg out. Put your foot kind of on its knife edge through the back leg. Hold on with that opposite arm up real tall and allow your body to sink into a side stretch.
Notice that Justin keeps that trail leg in a locked position. He's just allowing his hips to drop down. Going to feel that pull on that IT TFL area.
Great for the quadratus lumborum as well. A lot of people's back pain actually comes from this particular muscle. This movement helps stretch that area out. But you want to do these like reps. You're not just going to hold the stretch. You want to come in and out. It's a much more effective way of gaining connected range of motion.
Excellent point, Sal.
Coming up next, sweeping 90-90.
All right, we're back into the 90-90 positions. The last time you guys will be doing this month, and then we're going to progress it one more way. So last week, Justin was in the 90-90 position, and he would just balance and hold. Now we're going to do the 90-90 sweep.
This is actually different. Now, you've done 90-90 this week. This is a different movement. This is the sweeping 90-90 where you're sitting up tall and walking your hands all the way around as far as you can go, and then bringing yourself back around in the other direction.
All the same cues that we gave in the 90-90 as far as driving the knee and the ankle into the grass and being deep in the stretch while you do this, all those same rules apply. We're just adding a little bit of rotation to your torso at the same time.
The key is to do it with control and to try and sit nice and tall. Now, a rep is when you make a full revolution. So when you reach all the way over to one side, go all the way over to the other side, and then come back, that would be considered a rep.
Take your time, move very slow on this movement. Some of you may not even be able to sit up and balance, so you may not be ready for this rotation. Stick with the original 90-90, but most people, I would recommend that they do the original 90-90 progressions that we showed you the previous weeks, and then you would add this towards the end to progress the movement.
All right, guys, day 25, you're in your last week. This is the second mobility session of the week. You've been doing these now for a little while. We're adding new exercises each time. You should feel like you're getting better at these. You should feel like you're more connected. Let's go over what you did today. The first movement, pigeon, you've been practicing that now for a while. Thread the needle, that's for the upper back. The high five, ankle wall slide, half moon, and the sweeping 90-90. Now with the sweeping 90-90, you make sure, now it's just like 90-90 except you're moving from side to side. We are now adding movement to some of these mobility movements. Also, don't forget, this is very important, treat these like exercises and not like stretches. A lot of times when people get into mobility positions, like pigeon for example, they'll get into pigeon and then they'll just hold the stretch for a long period of time. Now there's nothing inherently wrong with doing that, but that's not the goal of the mobility sessions that we're giving you guys. Our mobility sessions are trying to give you more control over new ranges of motion. So you treat them like exercises. In other words, each of these movements is going to be done for 3 sets, 4 reps, 8 to 12. So you get into your position, you move into it, you come up, you squeeze, and you move back into it. That's 1 rep. 8 to 12 reps, 3 sets. After you do a set, you rest, and then you move on to the next one. This entire workout should take you roughly 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how long you take in between. And of course, you can do all these movements anywhere, so you don't need to be in the gym. Tomorrow is upper body isolation, strength exercises. You should be feeling pretty awesome by this point, so we're getting close to closing out your workout. Look, you've been doing this for a little while now. Share this with some friends. All the videos are on this channel, including the very first one. Send them to people so people can follow along. If you have any questions, the place to ask it is in the comments. We're going to go through and try and answer some of these questions. Also, subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications so you get notified every time we post a new video.